JD and I could meet at all, let alone fall in love and marry, is a testament to this great country.
Where many have failed, J.D. Vance and his wife, Usha Vance, have succeeded. They have managed to keep their family, especially their daughter, out of the public eye. However, on Inauguration Day, when J.D. Vance was sworn in as the Vice President of the United States, the world caught a rare sighting of their daughter. It raises the question, is their decision to keep their daughter away from the public eye because they are private individuals? Or is there something else they are hiding from the public? Join us as we explore how J.D. and Usha Vance break down in tears over their daughter's shocking change.
And the only downside I'll say of Usha is I asked the convention planners, I said, what about having my wife introduce me before my speech? I'm not making that mistake ever again.
Body. Mirabelle Vance, the show stealer. Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, had his wife and children with him when he was sworn in as the 50th Vice President of the United States. However, it was his 3-year-old daughter, Mirabelle Vance, who adorably stole the show, sucking her thumb as her father took the oath of office on January 20th inside the United States Capitol Rotunda. His wife, Usha, stood proudly next to her husband, and she carried their little girl while also holding the Bible that J.D. used during the swearing-in ceremony. Mirabelle was not the only child of the vice president to attend the inauguration. The couple's sons, Ewan and Vivek, who were dressed in matching blue suits and ties, were also present for their dad's big moment. J.D. Vance was not the only one to make history that day, as his wife, Usha, also made history as she became the first Indian-American Second Lady. She and the Vice President, who met in law school, have been married since 2014. Usha Vance is a highly motivated young woman who has always been supportive of her husband. What role did she play in helping her husband become one of the youngest ever vice presidents, his biggest cheerleader? When J.D. Vance, a military veteran with a working-class background and a case of imposter syndrome, got admitted to Yale Law School, he certainly did not seem like someone destined to land a heartbeat from the U.S. presidency. Many of those who know him credit his remarkable success story to the influence of his wife, Usha Vance, whom he met on the Ivy League campus. By any metric of success, J.D. Vance has had a meteoric rise. In a matter of just 3 years, he went from a long-shot run for the Senate to becoming the 3rd youngest vice president in American history. And at his side, every step of the way has been his spirit guide, as he calls her, his wife, Usha. Usha Vance is the 39-year-old daughter of Indian immigrants. She grew up in the San Diego suburbs before getting admission to and attending Yale for both her undergraduate and graduate degrees. Her husband, however, was raised in Middleton, Ohio. Perhaps it is the contrast in their upbringings that attracted them to each other. Charles Tyler, a Yale classmate and friend of the couple, told BBC that they were always this match of very dissimilar people. In his best-selling 2016 memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, a memoir of a family and culture in crisis, J.D. Vance recounted how his wife helped him adjust to life at the top law college. According to him, he had never felt out of place in his entire life, but his time at Yale was the first time he felt out of place. The vice president-elect described one instance in the book where his wife taught him which cutlery to use for which part of a formal meal, to pick the silverware from the outside in. Charles Tyler recalls that it was Usha that taught J.D. about the finer aspects of being at one of the most elite institutions. Tyler noted that Usha was his guide throughout the process. Hillbilly Elegy, J.D. Vance's memoir, explores his first-hand experience of the poverty and dependency of a rural underclass while offering a glimpse into the Vance's relationship. When J.D. Vance was unveiled as Trump's running mate in July 2024, he had limited name recognition. To most, he was the junior senator from Ohio. He was elected to public office for the first time just 2 years earlier, after having spells as a Marine, lawyer, and venture capitalist. What is most compelling about him is that he was known for making anti-Trump statements. There are even rumors that he once privately compared Donald Trump to one of the most evil men to ever walk the earth. Usha too did not shy away from politics. She was once a registered member of the rival Democratic Party until about a decade ago. And she counts among her legal roles a job as a corporate litigator at prestigious firm Munger, Tolles and Olson in San Francisco, a firm that describes itself as being radically progressive. During her legal career, Usha Vance also worked for conservative judges, Chief Justice John Roberts at the Supreme Court, and for appeals, Court Judge Brett Kavanaugh, before he was appointed by Trump to the highest court in the land. Her friends say that she chose to shun the limelight, partly because of her desire to shield their young children, aged 7, 4, and 3. During the campaign cycle, she gave public remarks a handful of times. Perhaps some of the most important remarks she made were when she sat for a Fox News interview and also to introduce her husband at the party conference. That speech offered the public perhaps the clearest insight into their marriage. To millions watching across the US, she described the man she met at law school as a working-class guy who overcame childhood trauma she could barely fathom. According to Vance's book, she played a huge role in helping him process that trauma, which caused him to sometimes explode in anger. He wrote that it is simply not just learning to control himself, but that Usha had also learned to control him. From her speech, Americans also discovered that J.D. Vance learned how to cook Indian dishes that accommodate his wife's vegetarian diet, among other things. And when the time came to defend her husband, she was ready to do that too. Last July, previous comments by J.D. Vance in which he called some Democratic politicians childless cat ladies resurfaced on social media, and it was his wife whose damage control seemed to do most to quell the ensuing uproar. She described his remarks as a quip, reframing them as a reflection on the challenges facing working families in America, and expressing a wish that critics would look at the larger context of what her husband had said. She is not one to simply embrace a political ideology because her husband believes in it. She acknowledged in the Fox interview that she does not agree with her husband on all political issues, though she said she has never doubted his intention. Although she has shunned the limelight, Usha Vance remains very much active in the Trump administration, with the president even having the confidence to delegate matters of importance to her. What task did the president delegate to her? And how well did she handle it? A competent second lady. Usha Vance arrived in Turin, Italy, as the lead for the presidential delegation for the opening ceremony of the Special Olympics World Winter Games. Usha Vance, the Second Lady of the United States, is in Europe alongside 7 other members of Trump's administration. This group of delegates includes Fox News host Rachel Campos Duffy, wife of U.S. Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy. Boris Epstein, Trump's senior advisor, and Deputy Director of Presidential Personnel Trent Michael Morse will also be part of the delegation. The Special Olympics World Winter Games, which showcases athletes with intellectual disabilities from across the globe, takes place every 2 years and alternates between summer and winter editions, with this year's being a winter edition. Usha Vance's last public appearance before leading the U.S. delegation in Italy was on Tuesday night as she attended Trump's speech in front of Congress. More than 1,500 athletes will compete at the World Winter Games from 100 nations. The United States is sending around 160 members from 42 states. The next Special Olympics World Summer Games will take place in October 2027 in Santiago, Chile, in Trump's 3rd year of his 2nd presidential term. Usha Vance has achieved so much already and is only going to achieve so much more. However, who is Usha Vance, and where does her drive come from? The woman behind the veil. As Second Lady, Usha Vance fills a position that is traditionally relegated to the sidelines of White House life, which may well suit a political spouse who has never sought out the limelight. Yet, according to her friends, the 39-year-old has played anything but a subordinate role in the rapid rise of her husband, U.S. Vice President-elect J.D. Vance. As a hard-working child of immigrants who has moved between the rarefied cloisters of Cambridge, Yale, and the Supreme Court to reach the pinnacle of public life, she is for many admirers a living embodiment of the American dream. Even J.D. Vance seems overawed by his wife's elite credentials. The former Ohio senator has said her accomplishments leave him feeling humbled. Usha Vance was born and raised in the working-class suburbs of San Diego, California. Her father is a mechanical engineer, and her mother is a molecular biologist. Her parents had moved to the United States from Andhra Pradesh, India. She graduated with a BA in history from Yale University and was also a Gates Scholar at Cambridge University, where she came away with a Master's of Philosophy in Early Modern History. It was as a student at Yale Law School in 2010 that she met Vance when they joined a discussion group on social decline in white America. The experience influenced her future husband's best-selling 2016 memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, about his childhood in the white working-class U.S. Rust Belt. It became a 2020 movie directed by Ron Howard. Her classmates remember her as a figure who stood out in the hyper-competitive world of Ivy League law for her willingness to lend a helping hand. Charles Tyler, now a law professor, revealed that she would take time to advise other students on how to apply for the highly prized judicial clerkships that she herself wanted. Another of her classmates spoke to the BBC on condition of anonymity, recalling a similar lack of sharp elbows in Usha Vance. According to this person, she was an excellent student and was at the top of their law school class. This person also revealed that sometimes when students are like that, they have the desire to maintain an edge over other students. But Usha was not like that. She was someone who would always share her outlines and class notes with her classmates. Usha Vance also revealed to Fox News last August that her husband's emphasis on the cultural importance of a loving home stems partly from his own upbringing, but also from knowing that the stability and sort of calm that she provides in their family life comes from all the support that she had, the faith that things would be okay, because she had people behind her. In India, there is immense pride in Usha Vance's storybook life, not least of all from her own relatives. Her great-grandaunt in Andhra Pradesh told the BBC that she is not surprised by the US Second Lady's success, given that she comes from a long line of Hindu scholars. Chilukuri Santhamma, a physics professor from Andhra Pradesh, noted that not everyone can climb to the top in a foreign country and achieve accolades, and it's fortunate that Usha has reached the position that happens for 1 in a million. J.D. Vance has had his own troubles in life, starting with his growing up days. How have they shaped his career and molded him to be the man he is today? Diamond in the rough. In his 2016 memoir, J.D. Vance only had words of praise for his older sister, who, despite a childhood filled with trauma, decided to break the cycle of abandonment and dysfunction that defined their childhood. He penned that there was something heroic about her marriage, considering that after everything she'd witnessed, she would end up with someone who treated her well and who had a decent job. His sister had, in his words, built a life almost in complete opposition to the one she left behind. She had decided she would be a good mother, she would have a successful marriage, and she would have only one marriage. He also revealed that her husband never mistreated her, adding that that was all he ever wanted in a partner for his sister. During the course of the campaign, the passage got filled with new meaning. People close to him say his relationships with the women who raised him are key to understanding his worldview on the thorny cultural issues for which he became known in his first month as Donald Trump's running mate. He internalized violent episodes and other hard lessons of his youth, and idealized the more conventional family dynamics he never knew, forming fiercely held opinions about marriage, children, and families that became the basis of Democrats' case against him as a national candidate. Vance, whose comments mocking childless cat ladies in politics resurfaced, is the son of a single mother who battled substance addiction and, according to his book, once pulled over the car to beat him. Vance's rationalization that parents in abusive marriages might do their children additional harm by divorcing is largely informed by his grandparents' combustible but persevering marriage. His aunt, Laurie Mybers, who took him in when his mother could not, said that everybody has problems and everybody has some dysfunction in their family, in an interview with NBC. She revealed that he's seen what it's like to be a kid that struggled. J.D. Vance, in an interview aboard his campaign plane, acknowledged that his upbringing shaped his sharp opinions. He also stood by his more provocative comments. He described them as the starting point for a debate about the public policies that can help young families, rather than a broad-stroke criticism of women, as Democrats have contended. He stated that he was, in a lot of ways, raised by strong women, from his grandmother to his mum, to his aunt, to his sister, and everybody played a big role. As he was talking, his wife, Usha, sat beside him. He continued, noting that he saw a lot of the struggles that are going on in the country through the eyes of a single mum, because he was raised in part by a single mum or a grandmother. Vance's socially conservative views are well known in Ohio, which is where he won his Senate seat 2 years ago, with a strong anti-abortion stance. Though he has expressed support for national abortion restrictions in the past, during his campaign he had to defer to President Trump, who insisted that they were going to leave the issue to the states. What do you make of Mirabel Vance's cute moment at the inauguration? And how well do you think J.D. Vance would perform as the Vice President of Nigeria? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.